Newman. And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
Well, you live by the dog, you die by the dog.
Quack, quack.
I didn't say that, Common. Don't put words in my mouth.
Rock Rank. Rock Rank. Rock Rank. Rock Rank.
Well, you'd be amusing if you weren't so pathetic.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Okay, calm down.
What do you think of my defense now?
Well, B-Flo stays, I'll think a lot about it. There's no guarantee, though, from what I understand.
Yeah, spiking ball.
Unless Pittsburgh and who else did he interview with? Unless they've hired, there's Baltimore, unless they've hired their head coaches. He's still not lock, stock,
He's
and
the
barrel.
clown
Yes.
from Brown.
I am not,
He's
not,
the
not
fourth
B-Flo.
in the North. This is the
And,
common man, Dan Cole.
And now Little B's mad at me. I offended her.
You offended
I
her?
offended her.
Wow.
I'm not coming in early anymore, and I know that's going to
Oh,
disappoint you.
no, not that. Anything but that.
I know that's going to disappoint you. I've been starting to come in during, because, I'm not golfing right now. I like to come in a little earlier. I like to bond and, establish relationships with people. I'm all about team. You know how you spell team? I mean, T-E-A-M. I'm all about team, right? So I go in there and right away, Ab, instead of saying, hey, you've been doing really well lately. Because the report cards they've never been better, as you know. Go ahead, thank you. He immediately starts criticizing yesterday's show. Boy, he must not have had anything in the 2 o'clock hour. What do you mean? It was the best hour of the show yesterday. You were asking Rosen about his doctor's appointments. Yeah, it's funny. That's called comedy. Lil B comes in. She jumps up from her desk and runs into the office, and they pile on me. This is terrible. Sound blah, blah, blah. And I had to do the old leave the radio to the professionals. This is where she was offended. I say, you stick to NTR. I'll stick to my radio show. But it is the truth. It's like I'll live and die by how I do it. If it doesn't work, and it's worked pretty well for about 40 years, if it doesn't work, then we'll part ways. You can say it ain't working anymore. Not going to work. And it's just like, I don't. And then, of course, the former senior vice president of programming, who rarely is here, and I never get to see him anymore. He's traveling all around the country putting out fires. He's the Red Adair of iHeartRadio. Did you know that? For country. He travels. He's the
Who's Red Adair?
Oh, you don't know who Red Adair is?
No.
Look up Red Adair. Google it. Red Adair. A-D-A-I. Oh, I guess I'm sounding old again. It's just I have
the first pictures I see are black and white.
Yeah, but read who he is and tell me.
Paul Neil Red Adair.
Yeah,
was an American oil well firefighter. He became notable internationally as an innovator in the specialized and hazardous profession of extinguishing and capping oil well blowouts, both land-based and offshore.
How many of those kind of fires have we had here at iHeart? Hundreds of them. So while read that again. What kind of fires did he put out? How did they describe them?
Oil well firefighter.
Yeah, but I mean, how did they describe them?
He specialized in hazardous profession of extinguishing and capping oil well blowouts, both land-based and offshore.
Hazardous. So Greg Swedberg is now the Red Adair of country radio. He travels he puts fires out in every market. He'll go to Atlanta. He'll go to Schenectady. He'll go to Shreveport. Wherever they need him, he shows up. He came in and said, Abbott looked at him and said, "Did you hear the Rosen thing?" He goes, "Yeah, it was really funny." He gets it. Then he went into it, and Abbott wrote it up on the whiteboard. He said, "Talent is like a river. It moves, but very slowly, and it doesn't change much." Because we don't. You're not going to get me to change. I've done the rant. Sports. Your whole life just sports. Yeah, Rosen sounded old. That was the bit. He's got 9 doctors. Nobody has 9 doctors. He's got a doctor for sleep apnea. He has a dentist. He has a doctor for his heart. He's got a doctor for his hip. He's got a doctor for his knee. What else did he have? Did I say sleep apnea already? He has a doctor for everything. And he's taking it seriously, and we're poking fun at him. And it was one segment. It's not going to bring the radio station to its knees. So, I was offended. That's what I said. I said, well, I'm offended that you're telling me I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't even think I can ask you your opinion, because once Rosen comes in, well, you check out usually by about 12:15. But by the time Rosen comes, 12:04, you're checked out. You didn't hear any of the Rosen bit yesterday, and that's okay. Here's one that came. We were getting text messages now from the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Why did that not sound? Why has a red flag come up, Genevieve?
Uh-oh.
No! I punch it in a yellow. I don't know. It doesn't work anymore. Oh. Let me see. What did I do there? There we go. I turned it off accidentally. I just learned something today. You know what else I learned?
And you figured it out on your own?
Yeah, I did. Well, you know what? I read those veg out pieces that always say, here are things boomers do that Gen Zers and millennials don't understand, or vice versa. And one of them was don't fight technology. And I don't really fight it. It's just hard for me to accept it. Partly is that I don't understand it all. But there, I figured that one out. This one says, I hope you don't pull a muscle. Patting yourself on the back. That's patting. Patting. And this one says, the best segment yesterday when we talked about Rosen's doctor. I'll die on that hill. So there you go. Because everybody knows the relationship that Rosen and I have, and they know how quirky Rosen is and how I like to prod him, and not prod him like a doctor, but I like to prod him, I like to poke him, cajole him, and have fun. And I find it fascinating. He's got a doctor for everything. He's got a doctor for his doctor, is what he's got. Here's another one. Abbott is just bitter because he wasn't asked to be the keynote speaker at the iHeart Leadership Seminar. And I think that might have something to do with it.
A little jealousy there?
Well, here he has been leading the fan for all these years, and Emily asked me, would you be the keynote speaker? Oh. And I did. And I've had nothing but, again, go ahead, I'll do it. I've had nothing but compliments. Even Lil B, who's now offended, that I told her to stick to NTR and I'll stick to my radio show. Even she said she was on the air. You heard her. She said she was pleasantly surprised that I took it seriously and that I was leading. Now, I'm not like Red at Air. I'm not going to jump. I couldn't be a firefighter. I'm not going to run into a burning building for anybody here, but I would for my kids or my wife, but I'm not going to do it.
Oh.
Sorry.
But not for your dog, if you had one.
No. Now, I would jump into a raging river to rescue my dog if he was drowning. I would probably do that. I'm a doctor. First time listening yesterday during the 2:00 hour, I thought this was a medical talk radio station. I'm taking my listening elsewhere. See, he thought it was a medical. Now he knows it's not, and he's out. I don't know that Beatrice, wow, or Chad Abbott Costello are thinking. I find every segment fascinating and funny. So there you go.
I always love that one.
Now, I don't believe any of them what they're saying there. Do you? I don't believe the word they're saying. They're just trying to stick up for me. Here's one that says, is there any way we can find a sponsor for Rosie's doctor segments? I guarantee if Lil B could make some NTR on it, she would love those doctor segments, right?
I guarantee he'd be willing to talk about it.
And he would be willing to talk about it. So, so there you have it. Did I?
So you'll be showing up at noon tomorrow.
Huh?
So you're going to be showing up at noon tomorrow? You're not coming in early tomorrow? Okay.
It's like, okay, sorry that
we're devastated.
You know, well, then I told her, I said, this is what I said to her. I said, why don't you write down everything I should talk about today? Just give me a script and I'll just do it. What's the sense of having me here if it's not going to be me, if it's going to be somebody else? Then Swedberg said, that's actually a really good idea because that would be a whole hour. And it would be a good bit, wouldn't it? She wrote down the topics I should talk about. It'd probably be Taylor Swift. And then maybe some more Taylor Swift.
And her future marriage to Travis Kelce.
And her marriage to...
Can I add one?
Yeah.
Turn your microphone on.
Yeah.
Euthanasia.
I you know me, I don't mind weighing in on any topic, but I don't know any children from that part of the world. So why would I'm not going to talk about, well, I shouldn't say I'm not going to talk about things I don't know about. I do that every day, but leave it to the professionals, please. Day after day, week after week, right?
Who's playing Program Master tomorrow?
I don't even know. Who is it?
I'm trying to remember who I got. Chris Schaefer.
Ooh.
Channel 4 weather. Good day for him. It's going to be freezing tomorrow.
Well, we don't want to talk
It's going to be cold tomorrow.
That'll make us sound old.
Who else did I get?
I'm just saying you're probably going to need a couple of them now.
Oh, I got Kevin Fallness. Do you want me to get older people?
No.
Okay.
I just wondering if
you want some senior citizens coming in?
No, that's okay. I think we're hip now with it, and wow. And how about this? Let me guess. All right, I'll give you what you want. Other side of the break, controversial Vikings news. Oh my God. Purple Prey. Right now, though, Tennessee's got a keyword to try to put $1,000 in your hand.
The Fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com. Spend an evening with Jeff Foxworthy, known for his signature You Might Be a Redneck jokes. Don't miss out when the Grammy-nominated legend takes the stage at the Treasure Island Event Center on March 14th. Secure tickets today at TICasino.com for Night of Laughs.
I should turn on my microphone. That would help. A couple 13, 14 past here on the Common Man program. Affordable Electric brings you Peek at the Purple, affordable-electric.com. With Affordable Electric, I got a couple of messages for you that I want to pass along to you. First of all, if you're remodeling this winter, before the drywall goes up, make sure the electrical is done right. Affordable Electric adds circuits, installs lighting, upgrades wiring, and solves hidden issues so your project is safe and future ready. Start the remodel the right way. Get the inspection. Have them come on in. It's affordableelectric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is, oh boy, is shockingly affordable. if I have it correct, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator for the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, has put his John Hancock to a contract to continue with the Vikings, but there is a caveat. There is an asterisk.
There's an out.
There's an out. Has he interviewed for both jobs or just the Pittsburgh? Has he interviewed
both.
for the Baltimore?
I thought one of them he was on the second interview.
Okay. So he's interviewing with Baltimore. He's interviewing with, or has with Pittsburgh. And obviously, if he gets a head coaching offer, he's off the hook. I always tend to believe what I read. I've always kind of downplayed coordinators and even coaches that, they obviously they're important to a team, but I've always felt like, if you got the right players, most guys can look like pretty good coaches. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But then there are some coaches that do stand above the rest. And I think B-Flo is probably one of those guys. I think he knows how to identify talent, and then what he knows how to do is he knows how to take that talent and put them into places where they can succeed. He pushes them hard. He's got a complicated defense, sort of like we have a complicated offense as well. Seems like our defensive guys are more adept at taking a complicated system and executing it than our offensive players are. But I think it would be a blow to the Vikings if he were to get ahead. And I get for his sake, because what he wants to do is be a head coach. So God bless him. I hope he gets a job. But there is a bit of selfishness there that as a Viking fan and as a franchise and an organization, where you say, gosh, I really wish he'd stay here. Do you agree with that? To a certain extent, that you'd rather, you want the best for him, but boy, because I think I don't think it would be. It's like we'll board up the new Winter Park, the TCO Performance Center, without Brian Flores. But I think he is big shoes to fill. As they
I will say, the defense has been very successful under him, but you wouldn't look at the defense and go, man, we got some blue chippers here. Right. So I think a lot of the success is due to his scheme and his ability to find players to fit his scheme. And so any other person that comes in, odds are they're not going to be as good as B-Flo, and odds are they're not going to know how to use the personnel. And frankly, like the personnel, well, good enough to be a good defense, like individual parts of it. We don't have a Micah Parsons.
Right, correct.
We don't have a lockdown. We don't have a Patrick Surtain in our defensive backfield. So it's hard to believe the defense would be as good next year without Brian Flores.
Yeah, and so
some of these guys were just kind of afterthoughts that just B-Flo knew how to identify and knew they would work for him. But that's not necessarily going to work for somebody else.
Like the Cashmans and the Van Ginkels.
Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel was basically a rotational player for Miami. Right. Cashman was a solid. He had one solid year, but was hurt most of his time.
Who else do we have? It's Van Ginkel, Cashman, and who's in the defense? There's another name, another linebacker or lineman. Who am I leaving out?
Grenard, Wilson.
Grenard. And he plays pretty well too. And then Wilson had a breakthrough season. So there is talent there, but you're right. Sometimes it's knowing how to use that talent. Then there's the motivational parts. You like playing for a guy, right? And, again, sometimes when you hear that out of the locker room, have you ever heard an interview or conducted an interview where you go, so what do you think of the coach? Well, he's kind of hard to play for. And I'm really not sure. Everybody, when they're asked, it's always, oh, gosh, he does everything. He gets the best out of me. So, and I'm not even saying you don't believe that. I'm not saying they're making it up as they go along, but you're not going to hear anything else. I don't think you don't hear them criticizing very often. You don't hear players not having something positive to say about either the head coach or their position coach, right? So, but yeah, and I don't know. I've not looked lately. Well, I haven't looked at all really this morning after 10 o'clock. Any word on is there any speculation as to his chances of getting either job, any of the Schefters.
I haven't seen anything further on that.
Okay. This one says, it seems like Flores is not the primary choice of Pittsburgh or Baltimore since he signed a contract with the Vikings. Do you think that's a tell?
I actually brought this up on X last night, and I've kind of gotten my answer right. I thought it was kind of odd that he was re-signed, yet could still be a head coach elsewhere.
Right.
The timing of it, I just thought was odd. Well, come to find out, apparently the Vikings will get like a third-round pick, draft pick compensation if he becomes a head coach elsewhere. So that's...
Oh.
But I was just like, well, why wouldn't you just wait until he doesn't get the job elsewhere and then just re-sign it? Like, I was like, is there something else going on here? You're trying to like create a media narrative on either side? I didn't understand. But
so that's the explanation.
Apparently, we can scheme our way into a compensatory pick.
Yeah, well, that would make sense then, right? And if you're B-Flo, would that be then considered? You're kind of, hey, I'm kind of doing you a little bit of a favor here too, to kind of, because we've had a nice relationship here, and if I get a head job, I'm gonna leave, but I can understand why you don't want to lose me, so I'll go ahead and sign. Then I'll know I'll have a job, and this way you can get some compensation for it. Because I don't think that would turn a team off, right? Do you think if all of a sudden, Pittsburgh says we'd like to have you, and he goes, well, it's going to cost you a third-round draft pick to sign me, compensatory, they're going to go, well, we're going in another direction. I just don't think that would.
Well, maybe the Vikings needed kind of an answer as well, right? Because obviously you're not going to get an answer on whether B-Flo is getting a head coach job somewhere else. But he also interviewed Washington's defensive coordinator position, or at least met with him.
Right.
Or visited. So if you're the Vikings, you need to know, hey, if you're not going to come back and be our defensive coordinator, we need to start moving on to our option B. So you need to at least commit to us from a DC standpoint.
I know Harrison Smith probably won't be a Viking or be in the NFL next season, but it would be nice for Harrison Smith to join Brian Flores and be his assistant defensive coordinator. And if Brian Flores does decide to leave, maybe Harrison Smith becomes a defensive coordinator because he knows the scheme just as well as anybody else. Well, yeah, but you don't even know if that's an interest of Smith's. And, sometimes the transition just, it's like, I'm not saying Harrison Smith couldn't be a great coach, but you don't know.
You have no idea if he can be a good coach.
That's it. That's
coaching is different than playing.
Yeah, that's the difference. And there are still people are, I don't think Harrison Smith's coming back, is he?
You haven't heard anything on that.
I guess he could change his mind. Well, yeah, but they did the thanks for the memories sign off against Detroit. Was that the Detroit game or was that the game after? The Green Bay game, right? Wasn't that the last game of the season?
Yes.
They did it for both he and CJ Ham.
I'm just saying we haven't heard like an official announcement from him. So
right. So I guess until it is official. And then you know what? Phil Rivers. He was retired. He came out of retirement, if you'll remember. We'll take a break. We'll come back with a little Distat Lat. A peek at the purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, go to affordable-electric.com.
The one and only Monster Jam.
Monster Jam.
Rolls back into U.S. Bank Stadium February 7th and 8th, and we've got your tickets in. Check out the contest page at KFAN.com to see how you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to the February 7th show. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. East Tennessee. We're doing spread swing, even though there's really only 2 games. It's just to kill a segment. 4 voices are easier to get through a half hour than 2. So we'll do that. Deuce and Rosie at 1:30, and then Rosie will be here for the rest of the time till 3 o'clock. Tennessee, I'm gonna read you 5 names and tell me which one you think is most deserving.
Okay.
Josh Allen, quarterback, Buffalo Bills. Trevor, football, Fabio, Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers. Drake May, New England Patriots, or Matty Ice Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams?
This is for MVP.
Who would you give your vote to if you were one of the voters on the panel?
I would go Matthew Stafford.
You would?
Yeah. I thought he was consistently good from day one.
Yeah.
Like, didn't have a bad stretch. I don't recall him really having a bad game.
Yeah. I will tend to agree. Josh Allen is the reigning MVP. His numbers, he threw for just under 3,700 yards, 25 tutties, 10 picks, a 102.2 passer rating, while leading Buffalo to its 7th straight playoff appearance. He also ran for 14 tutties. They were knocked out. Now, again, MVP awards, I think, is strictly based on regular season.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for a voter, unless all the votes were cast before the playoffs started, but I don't think they were, right? Because we're deep into the playoffs. I'm not saying they can't do it and didn't do it, but it's hard if a guy in postseason puts together a couple of brilliant games to not go, and he's really good, and he is, look what he did for them in postseason, MVP. He took it from the regular season and continued on. The other guy, I guess, would be Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could. He threw for just under 4,400 yards, 31 tutties, 8 picks. He led the NFL in passer rating at 113.5, completion percentage was 72%. I think I might give it to Drake May.
I was just thinking, I do wonder how much a player's age gives us any bias or influences the way we view this, right? Like if Drake May was in year 13, 14, mm-hmm. and Matthew Stafford was in year 2, we view it differently, right? Like, they're kind of, you could argue either way with Drake May or Matthew Stafford, but Drake May is going to have more kicks at the can.
Well, I agree with you. And I think there's also, not even so much that could be one. That could be one scenario that influences your decision. The other would be just, Matty Ice. He's been such a great, he suffered for all those years in Detroit. Wins a big game. He is really, really good. He's that grizzled veteran now, and he's never won it before. Matter of fact, did I read that right? I think we talked, I blurted this out last week, and I think it's because I read it somewhere, that he's never even finished in the top 5 in voting for MVP award. So is there that, let's give it to the Silver Fox. And he did have a great year.
He's never finished top 5.
That's what I thought I read.
I guess like in Detroit, they were never
That's it.
winning enough to be considered, but I would have felt like a previous Ram season.
Maybe I have that wrong, but he's never won the award before. So is it one of those where almost like a
make good?
Well, or what they do in the maybe not even so much a make good, but what they do like what do they call that? Like when they give somebody like an Oscar,
like a lifetime achievement.
Yeah, lifetime achievement award. Almost like, you know what? You see what I'm saying? You could do that because there is that little bit of the what's the other word I'm looking for? You like the guy, right? It's almost kind of one of those, let's go ahead and give it to him. He's a great all-round guy. Gosh, OG, Wally, you're the best brother a guy could ever have, that kind of a thing. I'm going to read you 5 names, and you tell me who you would select.
Okay.
Liam Cohen, head coach, Jacksonville Jaguars. Ben Johnson, head coach, Chicago Bears. Mike, I keep forgetting McDonald, Seattle Seahawks head coach. 49ers Kyle Shanahan, and the 2021 AP NFL Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel.
That's tough.
It is tough.
You can make an argument for all 5.
Yes, you could.
With how dominant Seattle's been. Seattle was a kind of like a middle of the road team last year. Mm-hmm. And McDonald's a first-year head coach, is he not?
I believe he is.
So to turn that thing around and just have an elite defense and get another good year out of Sam Darnold. I'd probably put Shanahan last year just based off of where they landed in the standings, but it's with the injuries he had to deal with, it's pretty hard to argue with the job he did.
Nick Bosa, Fred Warner out for the season, and many others.
Well, on offense, they were,
right.
just none.
But I mean, when you lose Bosa and Warner, those are two of the best defensive players in the game, and they were gone for the entire season. Warner didn't play a snap, I don't think.
Cohen and what he did to Jacksonville, and then it was Vrabel, and who else? Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
I'd probably go with Vrabel.
Okay.
Like I said, you can make an argument for any of these, and I don't have a strong opinion on it other than, Vrabel took over a pretty bad situation in New England.
Well, that he did a worst to first.
Yeah,
a team that was a 10-game turnaround. That's an astonishing. It's not like he improved by 4 or 5 games, 6, 7 games. That's 10 games better. I would, and you're right. It's a hard one because you look at the Jaguars. That's a 9-win turnaround on a team that, I'll be honest with you, Tinneby, I'm not paying as close attention to the NFL or the Jacksonville Jaguars as I once did, but I really didn't even know how good they were until it was like the last week of the season when I went, really? They're 12-4?
Yeah.
I had no idea because
they had the really good win against the Chiefs earlier in the year. And then even Ben Johnson, I know from a wins losses, I guess the turnaround's probably not as great for them as some of these others,
right.
But that was a team that was forecasted to take last by many people in their division, and they ended up taking first, ended up having the 2nd seed. Caleb Williams looks like an ascending star in the league, so he clearly got more out of just what they put around him with the offensive line. They fixed some of the weapons they got around Caleb. I mean, Ben Johnson did a pretty darn good job, too.
I think I would give...
And you saw what Detroit did without Ben Johnson.
Yes.
And what it took away from him.
I would give it to McDonald.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because he had the unfortunate situation of having Sam Darnold as his quarterback. Because, you remember what happened against Detroit and what happened against the Rams. He saw ghosts. He was terrible. I mean,
can't come through in the clutch.
Well, you can't come through in the clutch. You just can't. And why would you? I mean, the Vikings passed on him. They said, hey, we love what you did for us, but we've done that before. We did that with Case Keenum once too. We've done it before. Well, hey, thanks for your service. We appreciate everything you've done, but we're moving on. So I think I'd give it to McDonald just because, and not only did he turn the team around, but he did it with a quarterback that's just seeing ghosts. He's just not very good. So I'd give it to him. Assistant coach of the year.
Assistant coach of the year? So coordinators?
Yeah, well, it says assistant. Yeah. And they all are coordinators because it doesn't say there's no offensive line coach in there, but it would be Vic Fangio. He's the Eagles defensive coordinator. Flores. Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph, Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. There are so many Kubiaks in the world.
Well, he used to work for us.
Yeah.
When his dad was here.
Yeah, I think there are 2 Kubiaks coaching right now. The dad's done. Gary's done, but I think there's at least.
Was Clint not our offensive coordinator for a short amount of time, and then he get just panned?
He may have been, but I don't remember.
I thought he was, or at least he was like a quarterback's coach or something.
And then Patriots offensive coordinator Josh Daniels.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, McDaniels. Sorry, McDaniels. Who do you like there?
So Clint was the Vikings offensive quality control and assistant wide receivers coach.
Quality control.
Under Bill Musgrave and Norv Turner.
What is quality control?
But then he had a second stint here. In 2019, he was hired by the Vikings as their quarterbacks coach under offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski. On February 8th, 2021, Kubiak was promoted to offensive coordinator, replacing his father, Gary Kubiak, following his retirement. I knew he took it, and I didn't think it went very well for him.
What's a quality coordinator? We could use one here at the Fan. Don't you think? Because I think the quality here is lacking. Who do you like there?
So where's Seattle's defensive coordinator? Are they just not giving him credit because the head coach is the defensive guy?
I guess he's not. You're right. He's not in there. It's Fangio, Flores, Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, and then Josh McDaniels.
Unfortunately for Flores, he won't win it and it has nothing to do with him. It has because J.J. McCarthy and the offense couldn't go, and then the team doesn't have as good of a season, and that's going to be a knock against him, even though he had nothing to do with it.
Right.
It's kind of like in Major League Baseball when we award gold gloves to players for how good they are defensively.
Right.
But if you don't have a bat, you're never nominated for any of these things.
Yeah.
It's not strictly off of your defensive play. There's other factors that go into it, which is kind of weird.
And it's difficult, I think. It's like in the history of the big game, I think it's only one, but it might be two. The MVP has come from the losing team. Because it's just, you lost, just by definition, how could you be the MVP of the game? And so when you look at Flores and say, now again, the Vikings didn't have a losing record. They were 9-8. And so you kind of go, well, you didn't make the postseason, and like you say, no fault of his because the offense was so bad. But then you almost become an afterthought. Well, yeah, sure, he did a nice job over there. I mean, but that could be your argument. How did they get 9 wins out of that club?
So he won't win.
Right.
I don't think the Seahawks offensive coordinator will win. So what do I got in left? I got Vance Joseph in Denver. I got Josh McDaniels in New England.
And Fangio with the Eagles. And I don't think he'll get it either.
I think it should be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Even with whatever you think of Drake May, that offense last year was pretty bad around him. And it's not like they made major upgrades in terms of personnel. They added Travion Henderson in the draft, and he was kind of a rotational running back. They did go get Stephon Diggs, but at this stage of his career, he is what he is. Like it's not like they were moving the ball with big time, well-known offensive weapons. So I think I'd go to Josh McDaniels.
I think I would go with Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. And you know why? When you're saddled with a quarterback as bad as Sam Darnold, I mean, the Vikings didn't want him anymore. He was awful with the Jets and awful with where else did he play? Was it
Carolina and then San Fran?
Yeah, I mean, he was just awful. To be able to get that kind of an offensive production out of that team with that quarterback, I would think I would give it to Clint Kubiak.
Got a heck of a season of Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, he did. Well, that's the only reason that Sam's any good. Has any decent numbers at all. Comeback player of the year, Tenneby. Trev Lawrence, McCaffrey, Stephon Diggs with the Patriots.
Did he have a great year?
I guess. Aiden Hutchinson and Dak Prescott are your finalists. McCaffrey, Lawrence, Diggs, Hutch, and Prescott.
Did Lawrence is Lawrence just coming back from poor play, or I don't remember him having like a significant injury or anything like that.
Yeah, well, and again, I don't even know the definition of comeback player of the year anymore. I don't think it is. It's not necessarily based.
It could be like bounce back.
Yeah, it can be. I think it can be injury or just a bounce back year. Matter of fact, would that be the only reason? I mean, I know Hutchinson had some really good. I don't remember how many sacks he had, but I think he also had a lot of those pressures. He gets double teamed, so I think he was effective. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's a team that did make postseason play. They finished 9-8.
What was the last one you said?
Prescott. And the other thing with Hutchinson is that the injury? Are they looking at? Because remember, he missed. When did he get hurt last year? Was it like week 7? Wasn't that last year, week 7, and he didn't play the rest of the season, or was that 2 years ago now? So, maybe sometimes it is injury-based in the eyes of some voters, and others is just, well, he didn't play very well for a year or two, and then all of a sudden he turned things around and he started playing like he's capable of.
I guess I'd go McCaffrey or Prescott.
Okay.
But I don't know if there's an obvious choice here.
Defensive player of the year.
It's got Myles Garrett, isn't it?
Will Anderson.
Wow, he's pretty good.
All-pro edge rusher. He had 12 sacks. Broncos edge rusher Nick Bonito. He had 14 sacks for the league's second-ranked defense. I guess Hutchinson had more sacks than I thought. He had 14.5 for the Kitties. Micah Parsons had 12.5 in 13.5 games before he tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. And if you look at what that team did after he left, it was when he was with them, it looked like they might be the team.
He's a game changer.
Yeah. And then Myles Garrett, unanimous choice for All-Pro, single-season sack record.
Yeah.
23
You got to go Myles
sacks.
Garrett.
33 tackles for loss. He was the 2020. Yeah, you got to, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a choice here.
Your offensive player of the year, Tennessee.
Which I always find funny because then some of the names are different than offensive player. Than like someone could be nominated for MVP, but then not being the offensive player.
Puka Nacua.
He's good.
Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith Najigba, May, and McCaffrey.
Man. Jackson Smith and Jigba was really, really good for a long time. Now, maybe the last couple weeks, he might have tailed off a bit. Christian McCaffrey was good the entire time. Drake May. Who are the other two? Puka.
He led the NFL with 129 catches for 1,715 yards and 10 tutties. Smith Najigba caught 10 less passes, but he led the league with 1,793 yards. That's only a handful more than Nacua. He had 10 TDs, the same. So we were going strictly on numbers. Nacua had a slightly better year but he had Matt Stafford thrown to him, not the awful Sam Darnold.
Which is basically just like throwing with his left hand.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, I think you almost have to give it to Najigba. To be able to post those kind of numbers when you have somebody like Sam Darnold thrown at you, I give it to Najigba.
I think like through week 12, you would take Njigba over Puka, but Puka kind of caught him at the end there. Puka was rolling. And then McCaffrey beat. I mean, they all were elite.
I give it to Najigba because of the Darnold factor. So I have three guys getting awards because they're being handcuffed. They're being handcuffed.
Yeah.
By a quarterback that's just not very good. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Abdul Carter, Giants edge rusher. Seahawks defensive back Nick Emenwari. Falcons edge rusher James Pierce Jr. Browns linebacker Carson Schwezinger. And Falcons safety Xavier Watts. I don't think
I can break those ones down.
I can't break them.
No.
I can't break down the offensive ones, though.
I can do the offensive ones.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Amika Egbuka. Travion Henderson. I can't. How do you pronounce the McMillan character?
Teteroa McMillan.
Say that again?
Teteroa McMillan.
And then Tyler, the quarterback, is it?
It's actually like Shuck.
Shuck.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Was he good?
Not really. He had some moments towards the end of the season. There wasn't like a standout rookie offensive performance. I don't think you can go Shuck. I don't think you can go Travion. Egbuka through half the season probably would have been the guy, but he tailed off at the end. He had some injury stuff going on. Then when he came back, he was never the same. Who are the other two? Because I was going to give it to one of the other two.
Dart and Travion Henderson.
No, Teteroa McMillan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Now, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm assuming Teteroa McMillan kind of had like the best stats, the best numbers. I'd go Teteroa.
So there you go. And
Jackson Dart through his first couple games looked like, here's going to be a rookie of the year, and he got hurt because he doesn't know how to run out of bounds. And, we saw him against the Vikings towards the end of the season. I thought he was not very good at the end of the year.
And I'm going to throw something else into the, I'm going to throw one other thing into this, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Postseason MVP, Jarrett Stidham. That's what I'm going with. You wait and see.
Oh my gosh.
Can you say Nick Foles? I think Jarrett Stidham can be the next Nick Foles. So there you go. So, and the awards they're announced on the Thursday before the big game, I think, right? NFL honors. They do that then. So there you go. So yeah, those are the major, the names were released yesterday, and there you have it. Let's pause. When we come back. Tennessee's got some, we have 5-3-4, which means Tennessee he's got a tease for us.
Yeah, you're just talking about Matthew Stafford. Should Stafford be in the Brady Manning conversation?